You're listening to The Straight Line on MRN.com, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. And also brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Hey everybody, time for The Straight Line here on MRN, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ralph Shaheen and Doug Herbert with you once again. Well, they wrapped up the Southern Nationals. They've been running 2 weeks in a row. They're going to get the Mother's Day weekend off, and then the NHRA will get back to action up in Virginia. But this is a pretty cool weekend down in Atlanta. They dealt with some rain. They got through it.
They got through it, and, it seems like every year in Atlanta there's some rain or some kind of weather to deal with, but they got through it, and everything came out. The cars ran well. I don't know. It depends how you look at it. I know when I was a car owner, the rain, they shortened up qualifying and just saved me some money. So I don't know. I'm not that mad about it. Some crew chiefs are always upset because they want to make every run and all that. But, I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, look who won the race, right? Steve Torrence, Ron Capps, and Andrew Hines. It's like the winners win, and, what's the difference?
The one guy who I know for sure enjoyed the weekend would be Ron Capps. He got that Wally.
Yep. Oh, man, not only did he win the Wally, which is great, but he won the Wally in Atlanta, the headquarters for Napa. So Monday morning, guess who goes to the headquarters with the Wally? I mean, that is just – I did that. All of my Snap-on guys were, they're from Kenosha, Wisconsin, and we won the race in Chicago. Whatever year that was. Ed McCulloch was my crew chief. We had him on the show, talked about that a while back. And being able to go to your sponsor's company headquarters with the trophy after they were all at the races over the weekend, man, that's just big. So congratulations to Ron Capps, Ron Tobler, that whole Napa team. Great job there for Don Schumacher Racing. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be good with their sponsorship for a little while longer. That always helps.
Yeah, and, if you follow Ron on social media, he posts a lot of great stuff all the time. About his journeys through the season, and he had a lot of fun taking the Wally in the car, seatbelted in and showing it down there at the offices in Napa with everybody there, and it was tremendous. And especially when you think back to the troubles they had here in Charlotte, going out in round one of the 4-wide, having to struggle with the car and going to a backup car here and all that, and then put it in victory lane down in Atlanta just a week later.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, we'll remember that. I remember hearing the story where Ron Tobler, crew chief, tried to, he changed cars during qualifying, which they don't really like. And then some of the other competitors actually went and complained, they didn't go through tech in time and all this. Like, what the heck? Let them race their car, and pulled the car out and ended up doing pretty good with the, with the backup car, basically. So, no, I think great job by those guys. Ron Tobler, there's no part that goes on the car the first time at the racetrack. Every part in that trailer, I guarantee you, has been bolted on the car. It's been fitted on the car. It's been verified that it's right. That's how Ron Tobler does things. That's why he's won so many championships and so many races. And he and Ron Capps are a good team. They fit well together. They do a great job together. That's why they win races.
Grabbing career victory 50 one week, and then the very next week grabbing victory number 100 for your manufacturer. That's pretty solid. Andrew Hines did that, and we're going to talk to him right after these words.
A name says a lot.
I'm Kyle. I'll be taking your order.
When you meet someone named Kyle, as in Kyle Busch, as in rowdy, as in 8 wins last season and more than 50 career wins, as in donuts for days. So, if the humble name Kyle doesn't sound so humble to you, you're family now. The summer's heating up. Follow what could be the Toyota racing family's best season ever at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark for the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Your daughter's signing the finish line. She's in. Your grandpa air guitaring the pre-race concert. He's in. Soldiers saluting the flyover. They're all in. Fans holding their breath before a wreck. In. Drivers trash-talking on your headset after the wreck. Definitely in. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race at Kansas Speedway. Saturday, May 11th, under the lights. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. You in?
Hi, folks. Mike Bagley here. At MRN, we rely on equipment from Racing Electronics.
Joey Logano to the lead on the back straightaway.
Racing Electronics has scanners and headphones. We can listen to every uncensored conversation between driver and crew.
You won the championship, baby, yeah!
And when we need live audio, in-car cameras, and up-to-the-second statistics, we use their latest handheld unit called Legend. To learn more about these products and many others, visit racingelectronics.com. Racing Electronics, the official two-way communication partner of MRN.
Well, the Screaming Eagle, Vance and Hines, Harley Davidsons are 1 and 2 in the points right now. Andrew Hines, 78, up on his teammate, Eddie Krawick. And Andrew joins us now. Thanks for coming on board with us here in the straight line, Andrew. Career victory number 50 at Charlotte for you. And then you go down to Atlanta and you get Harley Davidson's 100th. That's a pretty good pair of weekends.
Yeah, not a bad weekend at all, huh, guys? That's a pretty special deal. Those don't come around very often, obviously.
Andrew, when you won the Harley Davidson first race back in 2004, can you imagine all these wins that have happened between now and then, 1 and now 100?
No, it's absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, that first win back in Gainesville in 2004, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Just the roar of the crowd after the semifinals when I won that semifinal round and guaranteed an all-Harley final. That was absolutely astonishing, and I can't believe that we've been in the winner's circle 100 times with our Harley Davidsons over the years. It's just a testament to how good our team is at persevering and overcoming and making sure that the equipment is spot on every single time we go up and down the racetrack. So the guys do a fantastic job, and I keep repeating that in all these interviews I do. But I really love the team that we have, and they do such a fantastic job to make sure that the equipment's right, so that makes us riders able to focus that much more. So that's you can't buy that anywhere else. Guys just do such a fantastic job.
We were talking about how cool it was for Ron Capps to get the victory in Funny Car this weekend, right there where the headquarters are for Napa, and then being able to go and show the Wally off there. You get a win like number 100 for Harley Davidson. I'm assuming there's some sort of a party or a trip down to Milwaukee to show it off. Or did you get a free motorcycle? What happens with that?
Nothing free out of the deal, unfortunately, yet, unless they're working something in the background I don't know about. But we're going to take a trip up to Milwaukee right before Chicago race and do a little something special up there with the Harley people. We're gonna surprise them a little bit with some things we got going on, so that'll be really fun. And it's great timing. Right now we're doing such good stuff with our motorcycles and working with the motor company, especially with our Harley Davidson flat track team out there. This is something that's great to tick off at that major milestone and keep everybody really really jazzed up, really enthused up there at Milwaukee.
Andrew, I went over to visit Terry Vance a little while back in his office there out in California. And he was so proud of that Harley Davidson engine that your father, designed from, on a piece of paper to get the Harleys to the point where they are and winning this 100th win. How much pride does that give you to be involved with that from the beginning? And your dad and your brother, just such an incredible racing family too.
Yeah, it's just there's a major level of pride there. We've poured our blood and sweat into these things over the last decade and a half. So it's been a nonstop effort to make sure we keep the ball rolling and try and keep ourselves out front. There's been times where we got behind the ball and other competitors were showing us the way. So we just grind and figure out a way to find more horsepower and dig on these things. And we've had to go through a couple different engine renovations, I guess you can call it. We had a different engine combination back there in the late 2000s that we did really well with in 2012, and that got outlawed. So just things like that, they make you smarter. You work hard, you find new ways to find the next edge. And with my dad in the corner and my brother in the corner, we just all work and push each other and try and find ways to make our team better. And I think in the racing world, people know comp cams, right? Well, comp cams was instrumental early on in this process to help us find horsepower and get our valve train right. And Billy Godbold, who's their cam guru down there at Comp, actually talked to my dad yesterday and said it's amazing. The mule, which he called it very early on in this whole process, he's like, the mule just won the Kentucky Derby. He's been involved since win 1 all the way now to 100. So he's seen the whole transition, and that was an interesting way to put it, especially after the last couple weekends here.
Well, fortunately, you didn't come wide off the fourth corner, so you're going to get to keep your Wally. I have visited your race shops there in Indy, and you and Eddie gave me a great tour. And I'm sure a lot of the folks who are drag racing fans, but maybe aren't not necessarily motorcycle racing fans, don't know everything that Vance and Hines does. Can you give them a little rundown of all the different areas that you guys are in? Because the facilities there are huge, in more than one building.
Yeah, especially at our shop here at the race shop in Brownsburg, Indiana, right down the road from all the nitro teams. We do a ton of, we call them hard parts, our race shop components. And, it's cylinder heads, valves, valve train kits for your Harleys, your four-cylinder bikes. Our major bread and butter deal is porting, valve jobs, surfacing, things like that. We do in the neighborhood of 500 to 600 cylinder heads a year for customers around the world, whether it's Supercross, AMA racing, Superbike over in Europe, Iowa Man TT, those guys that are nuts that are rubbing their shoulders on rock walls, running 180 miles an hour down those surface streets over at the Isle of Man. We do a lot of stuff in that aspect, and then we're also in obviously the exhaust pipe business with Vance and Hines out in California. All your custom Harley stuff for aftermarket exhaust for sound and horsepower and things like that. The Vance and Hines FP3 fuel pack, so you can tune your motorcycle from your phone. But at our race shop, we also do our stainless exhaust systems for AMA flat track 450 motorcycles. We do some custom exhaust systems for some of the other twins that we're actually racing against, and trying to do cam packages, sport packages, the whole deal. To try and make your motorcycle faster, whether it's one model or another, it doesn't matter. We'll try to make it faster for you.
Eddie, leading the points now with your third win of the year. Does the leading the points now really make any difference? You guys are probably looking farther down the road than that. What's it going to take to continue the domination that you guys have these first few races?
Yeah, right now I guess it's just bragging rights, leading the points. The countdown the last 10 years has really changed the outlook on that, but kind of take it as it goes and take it in stride. But it's nice to be leading the points. It's cool to roll into the track as the points leader. But we're just trying to push forward all season long. Our big push right now is to utilize the horsepower we have. That's what we've been trying to refine here the last couple of years. Try not to leave much out there that we don't want to look back on a race and say, man, we were off 300-400s. That just was all in tune-up. So we're working on that consistently from race to race. This year we implemented the newest Motec M130 ECU, and that's been life-changing on what I can do for the tuning on these things from gear to gear, and just makes the engine run so much better. So it's all about refinement. And then you guys touched on it earlier in this topic was the new chassis that I'm riding. That's something we developed over the last couple of years and kind of put all the final pieces together over the winter. And this motorcycle is a rocket ship. I mean, set the national record at 672 in Gainesville on the Harley. That was fantastic. And we have Eddie's chassis ready to go, putting the final touches on it here this week. And we're going to bring that out to Richmond, and he'll be riding the exact same spec as what I have and what Angel has.
There's a handful of things in racing that everybody dreams of, right? Now, I own a Harley, but I'm not a Harley-Davidson factory racer, right? You can own a Corvette, but you can't be Corvette factory guy. You can't be a Ferrari Formula One guy, right? So take us behind the curtain here, Andrew. What's the coolest thing about being a Harley-Davidson factory racer? Is it somewhere you got to go, something you got to see? What is it? Make us jealous.
Yeah, there's been good stuff all through the years. I mean, going to the factories and seeing the engines be produced, getting the behind the scenes tours.
No, come on! I can take a factory tour and do that. Give me the good stuff. What's the really good stuff?
Okay. How about this? So we go to dealer meetings every now and then for Harley when they announce the new model lineup for all their dealers, and dealers place their orders and things like that. And you get to mingle, hang out with the dealers, and you're walking around the show floor, and next thing you know, here comes Willie G walking down the aisle, and he's like, "There they are. There's my racers." That's the stuff that goes really far. And then you're talking to him, and all of a sudden Willie says, "Do you mind if I go to dinner with you tonight?" And the dealers that have been a Harley dealer for 30, 40 years are standing there saying, "Who are these kids? What's going on here?" So we go out to dinner later with that night, and you get to have that personal one-on-one interaction with the namesake of Harley Davidson. And here he is hanging out, having fun. Next thing you know, his wife Nancy, she pulls the whole race hey, it's your birthday today, right? And our truck driver, his birthday was 6 months ago, Nancy just pulls the birthday trick. They come out singing, hooting, hollering, and it's a down to earth, fun deal. And when you have a relationship that long and you can have those stories about somebody that is the namesake of the company, that's pretty fantastic.
That is, of course, Willie G. Davidson is who he's talking about. Yeah.
That's the guy. That is cool. But, hey, one thing I wanted to follow up with, too, Andrew, was you saw the video. Thank you for doing that distracted driving videos out there in Las Vegas. They turned out pretty good. And you were the only one that didn't have a blooper. So you were the finisher off of that really cool video, too.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was a great deal, and I'm glad to help you support that deal. You have a tremendous cause there helping those kids learn how to drive cars. And I got my 8-year-old son, Declan, sitting here right now. We're getting ready to go to the racetrack here in a little bit so he can drive his junior. But when he's of age, he's definitely going to be going through your program.
Awesome.
Tell us about your son and his racing. What's happening there? There's another Hines in the pipeline?
There is. My 8-year-old son, Declan, he's all about racing. He watches it avidly, follows everything, wants to know all the stats. And last year he's been bugging me for years and years, but last year I broke down, bought him a junior dragster. It's one of Antron's old dragsters, and he took to it like a fish to water, man. He's a natural at it. He's analyzing everything that's going down the racetrack, analyzing how he left the starting line, remembering how he thought he was as far as driving straight, and where he thought he left on the tree and where he could improve. We didn't get any race wins last year. I think we made it to, Declan? Three events, and I think he won 11 rounds between all the classes he was winning or racing at in those 3 events. So he got down to 8 cars a couple times, got beat up by a couple of 13-year-olds. Faster cars, better reaction times, but he's learning, he's having fun. So we haven't been out this year with the junior. We're going to go test it here at Lucas Oil Raceway tonight and get him some laps because we have a race. The Midwest Junior Super Series is this weekend in Indianapolis. So he's going to go do some racing Saturday, Sunday. So we got today and Friday to go test it and get it sorted and make sure I can still be a crew chief on that thing.
Well, congratulations. That's some of the most fun, going to the drag race with your son and being a crew chief. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on your 51st win and the 100th win for Harley-Davidson. Great job.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been really fantastic.
Okay, Andrew, we'll be talking to you soon, and enjoy the weekend off, and good luck when you get to Virginia.
Thanks, Ralph.
Okay, we'll be right back. Steve Torrence up next here on the Straight Line.
Hey, race fans, it's Ralph Shaheen, and like you, I have a huge passion for racing. With the most in-depth features on racers, series, and events, no one covers racing better than America's original motorsports publication, Speed Sport. Get your subscription to Speed Sport magazine today at speedsport.com.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away 1 set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
The battle for the 2019 championship will be filled with twists and turns.
We got to kind of calm down for these speedway races because you can use the bumper, but you end up taking 10 other people with you.
Each weekday, NASCAR Today brings you the top stories in the sport.
That's a totally different experience for me and Kyle.
In the garage, at the track, or behind the scenes, NASCAR Today keeps you up to speed every weekday.
Go for it. What do we got to lose? I don't know. I mean, you might as well try it, right?
Welcome back to MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Doug Herbert, Ralph Shaheen here with you, and joining us once again. I mean, he's almost like the third member of the show.
He's a regular.
He is, because he keeps winning. Of course, we're talking about the reigning NHRA Top Fuel champion, who also happens to be their current points leader and the most recent winner in Top Fuel competition, Steve Torrence. Steve, how you doing again?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Well, we're doing good, but I got to tell you, you're killing us because we're running out of questions for you because you're on all the time.
Hey, that's a good problem to have on my side of on
Yeah.
my side of things.
Yeah, on your side for sure. And, as I was thinking about that, driving over to the studio today, I got to wondering, we hear so much about organizations like the New England Patriots, for example, how they come back year after year, or the Golden State Warriors come back year after year and continue to perform at a high level. We said at the end of 2018 that you were probably the one guy who didn't want the season to end because it is so hard to keep that momentum going. How did you do it?
Well, we didn't keep it going. We did pretty good at Pomona and got beat in the final against Doug, and then we had a little stint there where the team was doing pretty good, but the driver had lost his way. And, I think that it's just an intensity and focus level that you stay at for so long that I kind of allowed myself to relax a little bit, and it didn't take long to realize that wasn't going to be the recipe for success. So I had to kind of get my head back right. But it is difficult to stay at that level, but it's just, if you want to go out and do what we've been doing, I guess that's the only way to go about it.
Well, Steve, you went down to Atlanta, where you're the site of your first Top Fuel win back in 2012. When you go into some place, I used to be like that. It's Bristol or whatever. You go to some place where you're so comfortable, you just know when you drive in, when you come in the door, like this is a place where we are going to do good at, because you just know it.
Absolutely. There are those tracks, and Atlanta's one of them. Unfortunately, Englishtown was one of them. We don't get to go back there, but coming off of that win at Charlotte, we do well there. We do well in Atlanta, but it was a big confidence booster just knowing that I was driving better, the car was doing really well, and heading into a track that we'd been successful at in the past. It was all a culmination of all three of those factors that I think played into my part of having that just confidence going into it, but also into the race team, into Richard Hogan, into Bobby, and it was. Everything has to come together to win one of those races. And it's just it's difficult to get there, but it does help going back to a place that you're comfortable at.
Steve, talk a little bit more about how you said you kind of lost your way, if you will. What happened? How much did you back off, and then how did you get it back? When did you realize, okay, I got to focus up here?
Well, it's not that you really lose your way, but you race. The last two seasons have been pretty intense for us. We were dead in the middle of contention for championships both years, and lost in 17 on the final day, and then we're able to get it done in 18. But when you kind of look back on that, there's no really room to stop and take a breath or relax. You're just constantly on the push, trying to up it, take it to the next level, keep the pressure on the people around you. And when it was all over, we won the championship, and you go into Pomona with a little bit of ease. Well, we didn't have that either, because we're still trying to go and be perfect and go 6 for 6 in the countdown. And then you get a couple months off and you come back racing and you think, well, we've achieved our goal. We're the champions. But that was only good from Pomona to Pomona. Now we're the guys that everybody's trying to beat again. And it took me a few races just to get back in gear, to get back going and find that motivation and find that drive, and just realize that just because we are the champs doesn't mean it's easy now. It's just as hard as it ever was, or more difficult. And so these guys are really going for us. And I didn't like the fact that I won a whole lot last year on hole shots and didn't win very much at all this year on hole shots.
Well, but you won the semifinal round here at Atlanta on a hole shot, so that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was definitely a good day to do that. We go up there and the car's running really well, and we tried some things because we had smoked the tires in the second round, and then when we needed a little bit of a break, we needed that to happen just so that we could kind of get the car fixed up. If we could get by that round, we could get into the final.
As you look forward through the rest of this year towards chasing this championship, what did you learn from last season that you know you're going to have to do this year to get the title again?
We got to continue doing what we were doing. I mean, I think that just constantly trying to evolve the tune-up, making sure that the car can run good in all conditions, whether it's really fast or really.
Still there, Steve?
Yeah, I think I lost you there for a second, guys. Yeah, you got to work on the tune-up and try to, constantly evolve what you're doing, and just whether or not it's going to be cool conditions, hot conditions. You know, you go through the summertime when you can't really go out there and just swing for the fence, and then you got to be able to adapt and go. Maybe we go to Richmond this weekend, and it's going to be double throwdown, and guys are running 60s where we just left Atlanta, and everybody's in the high 70s, low 80s. So we just really need to kind of fine-tune that tune-up and perfect it.
Well, that's right. You know, people think about drag race, it's just a quick little race, and it's done. But really doing what you're doing, it's an endurance race, right? I mean, for the last several years, you've been racing drag races, little short squirts at a time, but you've been racing them as an endurance race.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you gotta kind of, you got to learn how to manipulate the countdown. You got to know how to go in there and race that, and where you need to be as far as all your clutch disc, all your inventory, and really when to turn it on when you need to. Everybody wants to win Indy, and everybody wants to win as many as possible, but when you really need to start turning those knobs and putting the pressure on at Indy and all the way through the countdown to be solid. So that's what everybody's gearing up for. It's not a sprint. It is a marathon.
You know, I got a pilot sitting over here to the left of me over here in Herbert, but I got to tell you, following you on social media, those post-race flights home sure do look like a lot of fun. How did Doug and I get invited on one of those?
Well, you just got to be going where we're going, and you can go with us.
Well, as much fun as it looks like, I could go there.
We'll buy a plane ticket home.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to get home. Going with you just might be worth it.
Yeah, just hop on. We'll head somewhere.
All right.
No, it's pretty neat to be able to fly, on our own deal, and it gets us to and from work, and that's what pays the bills. We're not making a living racing right now, so we gotta make sure that we take care of Capco.
Well, Steve, listen, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the weekend off, and all the best as you take your points lead into Virginia here in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Hopefully I get to talk to you again soon.
I'm
Yep,
betting
thank
you
you
will
very
be.
much. And Steve, thanks again for coming to the Brakes Pancake Breakfast there a couple weeks ago. What a great support. I appreciate you coming and doing that and making a donation to Brakes. You guys are helping us make a difference. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot. And I'll tell you, just like I said on Sunday, it was the pancakes that got the win.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Steve. And folks, stay with us. We're coming right back with more of the Straight Line.
NHRA drag racer Doug Herbert here to talk about safe driving. In early 2008, my two sons were killed in a car accident that was caused by speed and inexperience. After the accident, I learned that over 6,000 teenagers each year are killed in car accidents, so I formed a nonprofit organization called Brakes. Brakes stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. Please visit our website at putonthebrakes.org to learn more about responsible driving and what you can do to keep our roads safe.
Join Motor Racing Network every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. Get the latest news and exclusive interviews from the biggest names in the sport.
But I don't know how to summarize it any better that, a driver's home track where his family and friends are all present just feels like a bigger event.
Hear the thoughts and opinions from NASCAR insiders and much more.
When people come up to me all the time and say, hey, Rusty, who's going to win this week? I consistently say the 4-car.
It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday evening at 7 Eastern on the Motor Racing Network. Hi, Hi, folks. Mike Bagley here. At MRN, we rely on equipment from Racing Electronics.
Joey Logano to the lead on the back straightaway.
Racing Electronics has scanners and headphones. We can listen to every uncensored conversation between driver and crew.
You won the championship, baby, yeah!
And when we need live audio, in-car cameras, and up-to-the-second statistics, we use their latest handheld unit called Legend. To learn more about these products and many others, visit racingelectronics.com. Racing Electronics, the official two-way communication partner of MRN.
Well, if you're looking for Doug and I on a weekend, you probably stand a pretty good chance of heading out to a racetrack, and we encourage you to come check out the NHRA races live and in person because there's just nothing like it. So go to NHRA.com, click on the red ticket tab in the top right corner, get some tickets, and come on out to the races. Here's the next three. Virginia NHRA Nationals right up there in Dinwiddie, Virginia. That's a great racetrack up there.
Yeah, just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Great location. I think a lot of the guys, hopefully, that were, Englishtown folks will take a little trip south, go there. And, they've been running up there for a while. I actually ran the first race they had up there. Was a match race with Joe Amato back in 1994. So that track's been there for a while. They've got a lot of fans. NHRA went away from the track for a little while and then came back. Great fan base up there, though. Yeah, don't miss that race next weekend. Not this weekend, as Steve Torrence said. This weekend is Mother's Day. Don't forget this weekend. But next weekend, go up to Dinwiddie, just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Great race.
Yeah, I've done the races up there myself. It's a great facility. Okay, time for red light, green light. And I've got a red light that I noticed. I was thinking about it when we were out at ZMAX, my son Lucas and I at the 4-wide. We were there on race day. And we had things, okay, we want to go do this, we want to do that, we want to say hi to these guys, do this, watch the pros run, blah, 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 blah. And you kind of mapping out your day, how you're going to do this stuff. And in between the semis and the finals, you're like, all right, let's run back down into the pits and go do this, this, and this, and the manufacturer's midway. And they were all folding up their tents.
I'll tell you what, that's disappointing because NHRA used to have, you and I talked about this a week or two ago, they used to have a rule that said, hey, you can't start loading up till till the cars are pulling up to run the finals, or like the engine start up for the finals or something. And I think that's a good idea because, like you, a lot of fans go to the races. They run out of time.
Yeah.
And especially at the 4-wide because it kind of moves a little faster. There's only 3 rounds instead of normal 4 rounds. Gosh,
But there is a bigger gap, too, in between the rounds at the 4-wide. So there's more time to do stuff, and you really wanted to do it, And so, it's kind of frustrating, right? If it's your one shot to go to the races, and look, I get it. I'm a part of the traveling circus. I understand how it goes. You're ready to move on to the next one. But sometimes it's tough for the fan.
Right. I think it kind of shortchanges the fan. You're right. And the NHRA has a rule where you can't pull your trucks out of the racetrack until I think 2 hours after the final run. So why bother?
Where are you going?
Yeah, you're going to the hotel. You're in that big hurry to go to the hotel. I mean, come on, stay out there and give the fans their money's worth. I mean, they're out there to see racing, but they also want to see that manufacturer's midway and all the products and items on display there. That's one of the best things about the NHRA.
Going to the event. They have a fantastic manufacturer's midway. You want to be able to see it. Okay, green flag. I got some friends at Fox, and I got a text message from one of my good buddies there. And on Sunday at Atlanta, they're dealing with the rain and all that. And he said, all of a sudden, the door to the TV truck opens up after like the second big rain delay. And who comes walking in the door? John Force on his 70th birthday with a stack of hats and a Sharpie. And he said to the Fox guys, I just wanted to come down here and thank all of you guys for dealing with this weather and hanging in there and doing your best to try to give us racers good exposure for our sponsors. I just wanted to sign hats for everybody in the Fox crew. Now, that is a driver that gets it.
Well, Forrest always gets it. And I've told the story on the show, about him meeting with my son. And have I told you that story? We'll save that for another date. But he's a great ambassador for the sport. He's 70 years old. I mean, you'd think he's 50 years old. He runs around like he's 25 years old. So he's a great ambassador for the sport. Kudos.
But there's a lot of 25-year-olds and younger who should pay attention to what he does because that's how you get longevity in your racing career and please your sponsors on down the road.
That's why he's had sponsors for 25, 30 years as well. So Don't forget what John Force did to get there.
That's right. For Doug Herbert, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Thanks for watching O'Reilly-sponsored Straight Line.